You're watching The Whole Living Show on Trajectory TV.
Five years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, two teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
Operate out of your dreams and your vision and not other people's expectation. Having breast cancer wasn't my choice, but the decision to live healthy so that I could stand before you here today, that's choice. You can choose this very moment to change your life from every perspective.
Tracy Randolph was our speaker. She came back because so many people liked her first presentation. I was one of those people that joined her fitness group, and it made me a better leader.
I grew up in a community, but they had limiting beliefs on what a little black girl could do. Everything that you do in this life is a choice. I choose to live healthy. I choose to change my mindset. I choose to be everything that I dreamed of because I choose faith and I choose me. Live healthy, be everything that you can be today. Choose yourself.
Boom, boom, bow, bow. Hey everyone, and I see my amazing guest backstage was rocking to the beat on that song. I love the show opener, so I'm always backstage dancing, and when I come in, I just want to sing. I just want to sing, even though I can't really sing, but I just want to sing. But anyway, everyone out there, welcome back to another episode of The Whole Living Show. We are so glad that you are here. As always, I have two amazing guests that are waiting backstage, but I'm not going to tell you exactly who they are just yet because we have something to talk about first, and then we're going to bring the guests in. But I wanted to talk to you about, so you guys know what I do on this show. I like to uncover news that I hear, things that are presented out there, either on social media or, in the news, news that I read. I usually don't watch news on the television. I like to read my news instead of watching it on the television. But I saw this video and I have to share it, and I don't have it to pull up on the screen, and I'm not going to. Actually, I'm glad that I don't, because I don't want to put other people out there and what they choose to do, but I think it's worth talking about. So in this particular video where they were providing information, they were talking about the healthcare system and the fact that the healthcare system has backing from companies that have, products that are adverse to our health, known to be adverse to our health when it comes to things like their sugar content, some of the chemical content. And we know that these things are adverse to our health, but they are supporting and funding the healthcare systems in the country. And when you go into a hospital, they mention that you will see vending machines that have the unhealthy products included in the hospital, where people are going to hopefully receive care to be better, right? To get healthier, right? So I wanted to mention this because what I really want to do is spark, some curiosity in the audience out there in terms of taking a look at, more so than what the healthcare system is doing, what you are doing for yourself. Now, I've been saying, on my lives on social media, show up for yourself. That's been a theme for me, partially this year, is show up for yourself, because it really is up to us to advocate for our health. It really is up to us to think about the habits that we choose each and every day that are going to either cater to a healthier lifestyle or to illness. And I really wanted to spark some interest in you so that you would think about how you are treating your own body. The person in particular who put this video out has been theming save yourself, which hit me even more than me saying show up for yourself. Such a powerful statement. When you think about, we have, and I showed that speaker video on purpose because I talked about choice about 3 years ago, but we have the power to choose our own habits. We have the power to choose how we treat our own body. Now, I'm not saying we have control over everything, right? We are not God. We don't know exactly what's going to happen day to day. But on a daily basis, we have the power to choose how we treat our body. And I'm going to say to you, do not squander this beautiful vessel that has been given to you by God. Treat it respectfully and treat it with healthy habits that are going to allow you to thrive in your physical body, in your spiritual body, and in your mental capacity. We want to thrive. So think about, what you see out there, particularly from those who are advertising things that are telling some, I'm going to say truths. That's my personal opinion. There are truths out there that are coming out about how the healthcare system works. And I'm not saying it's not necessary, because it absolutely is. And I'm not knocking the healthcare system. I just want you to be more aware about what you're doing for yourself and how you're treating your own body on a daily basis. So that's the reason for me airing a lot of this information, because it really is up to us. If we didn't have the unhealthy habits, we probably wouldn't fill the hospitals as much as we do, right? And again, I'm not saying that hospitals are not necessary. I'm not saying that the healthcare system is not necessary. It absolutely is. And there is a lot of good that is done there. So I want to report that also. But there are some things that we can do for ourselves. And I'm going to just run down the basics, right? And you all know these basics, right? Drink more water, get more sleep, eat healthy, whole foods, check the ingredients on your products, right? Exercise, move your body daily, keep a positive mindset. And I know life is challenging, but we need to make sure that we are mindful of what we are choosing to absorb and nourish ourselves with. In all three areas, mind, body, and spirit. So I just wanted to mention that. So I hope that you become a little bit more aware as you choose the habits that you exercise each and every day. All right. So everyone out there, topic for today is true love is possible. Now I'm going to tell you why I chose this topic once I bring our guests in, because there is a reason why I chose. And I don't even think I told my beautiful friends backstage why I chose this, but I love their story. And true love is possible. And just like I was talking about living healthy, right? We have the opportunity to choose to love. We have the opportunity to choose that. And and I'm going to say this, even when there's challenges in your life, and I've had my own, right? I'm 53 years old, so I've had a lot of challenges in life and in love. But even when, you have other people that have let you down. True love is still possible. And my guests this evening are a perfect example of that. So I have Mr. Raul Marin and Miss, soon to be Mrs. Jessica Roman, soon to be Mrs. Marin. So I'm so happy that you two are here. Say hello to our audience out there.
Hi, audience. Love and blessings to you. Glad to be on the show, Tracy. Thanks for having us. Thank you
Absolutely.
for the reminders about taking care of ourselves and advocating for ourselves. And it's a beautiful introduction. So I'm just glad to be part of your world today. Thank you for having us.
Amen. Thank you.
And as they say in the South, hey, y'all.
And I am in the South. And so is Jessica, right?
Yes.
Yes. So I have to tell you, I met these two beautiful people, these two beautiful souls on a virtual conference. I immediately I was blown away by Raul's story because we had the opportunity to speak on a platform together, and I was blown away by his story. But not only was I blown away by his story, I was blown away by just how he relayed the message and how authentic and how real and how compassionate it was and how much you felt it. And we immediately connected as friends. And I'm going to tell you, for Jessica, I just saw her beautiful face. She was smiling. She was so happy. She was so vibrant. And I remember her from then. So when my friend Raul told me that this was his beautiful love, I was like, oh, she's amazing. I already knew because she was glowing. She was glowing as she is right now. So I want to tell you first, before I let you guys get started, I want to tell you first why I chose Love is Possible. Because my brother here was on the show before, and he was talking about how he basically thought that it wasn't going to be possible for him. How he had lived his life, and the opportunity after opportunity of different love interests just wasn't panning out. It just wasn't right. But as you can see here today, his beautiful love Jessica is here, and I want them to talk about how they met and how they knew first and foremost that they were the love for each other. So I'm going to let one of you decide who's going to start first.
I'll let Raul, because I think he has more to say on how we knew, because I think he knew first. So I'll let him go first.
Well, woo child.
Besides the fact that she's beautiful, because she's gorgeous.
Thank you.
She sure is. You're never too old to learn, right? That lesson, and life's just gonna keep repeating lessons to you, harder and harder and harder until you get it.
Yeah.
And I learned, about 4 years ago that I talked about how I loved God, but I didn't really manifest it. I didn't love it. I didn't truly believe it. Like I talked about it, but there was a deeper level to that I did not know that I could get to that point until I did this mind, body, spirit challenge. And my stronger, deeper connection to God allowed me to learn that it's like, if I can learn to love God more than I ever have in my life, I can now love myself because God created me.
Yeah.
I've been living all my life thinking that, I had control, that I had the ultimate decisions, that I had the ultimate power to determine when I would meet the right person. And the default answer was, I haven't met her yet, or it's not my time, or, this, that, or the other.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until I started to connect my life with God more that this completely opened my eyes. It's like, I can't start my day without thanking him for the blessing that it is to be alive every day. And so my life started to transform after I learned that lesson. And so here I am going on a Zoom call of a networking group called ama, which coincidentally means love in Spanish. And that networking group is hosted by somebody by the name of Emilio Roman. The last name is a coincidence. I mean, who knows? Maybe there's like a third or a fourth or a fifth cousin where the Roman aligned there, but
Yeah.
they shared that last name. And so just as we are here, I saw her square, on the Zoom call, and I'm thinking, why in the world has this man not told me that he has this beautiful, could be sister, stepsister, cousin, aunt, niece, whatever, but I mean, my goodness, there's a Jessica Roman on here. I was like, okay, I'm just gonna lay low and just kind of be in the background and see how she talks to people. Because I mean, just from the Zoom screen, this woman's attractive. Like, I want to see how she is with people, so I'm just gonna be quiet and watch her. That was my intent. Because I knew that if I could see how she interacts with people, that I'd be like, okay, maybe there's some potential for me to slide in a message and say like, what's up? But I didn't do that until she was formally introduced into another networking group. And this one was for entrepreneurs. And so by that point, I realized like, okay, this girl, like, she's serious about entrepreneurship, because you don't just get introduced into that group without having a track record of entrepreneurial success. And so once she was introduced into that group, I was like, oh, okay, this is serious now. Whether she's family to Emilio or not, like, I'll find that out. But either way, I'm going after this girl, because I mean, now she's worth connecting with.
Yeah.
We can use let's connect on business to get things started, but eventually I want to get to know her. So I slide in some messages, we start talking, and
you slid in her DMs, huh?
DMs, and she's responding to me with the same amount of energy with which I'm sending the messages to her with. And I'm like, okay, she's corresponding in the energy in the messages. So I mean, that seems authentic. And then we get on a Zoom call, like well, this is StreamYard, but we get on a Zoom call, and it's just the voice, just soothing, calm and peaceful, but yet confident. Just that presence and the beauty, and it's just it was divine. It felt like I'm not getting off this Zoom call without building a strong connection to her.
Yeah.
Because I just that presence, that effortless, soul of, connecting with me just drew me in. Yeah. And well, that was those calls are typically 30 minutes. We talked for 3 hours.
Ooh.
And the thing that most people don't know is that I felt so connected to her. This is our first Zoom call. I was like, I'm going to tell her, if she really wants to don't know the authentic me, and I want us to build this relationship beyond this Zoom call, then I want her to know the past that I've been cautiously, waiting, testing the waters to see who can I tell this to. But the connection to her was so strong. I was like, I want you to know why I am who I am and why I do what I do. And I was so pleasantly surprised to hear her reaction was just like, okay. I was like, that's it.
Yeah. And so now I have to ask Jessica, because first of all, I love that. Let me backtrack for one moment. First of all, I love that you said it was divine. Because that's a clear path, and your transformation spoke to you being able to recognize the divine speaking to you, right? But I want to ask Jessica as well, now that you mentioned the fact that you wanted to tell your story, right? So that she can know who you really are. What was your feelings about that? Like learning the authentic Raul?
Oh, it was refreshing, to be honest with you, Tracy. Because okay, so a little bit about me. I've never been married. I'll be 42 in the summer, and I've never been married. Didn't have any kids. Just kind of been working, living in purpose. I like to travel a lot and meet new people. Just kind of that lively, spirited person that found family wherever I went. So for me, meeting new people is effortless, and I thank goodness for the a friendly face, because that makes it easier for some people to approach you. So when Raul wanted to have a virtual coffee, for me it was okay, just another friend that I could make, another connection. And by nature, I'm a curious person. I love to ask questions. I like to get into people's why. I mean, all of that psychology, that kind of like it interests me. So we got on the call, and it was truly refreshing that he was so honest, because in my experience in dating, oftentimes, I won't generalize, but oftentimes, at least the men that I dated, they had an agenda. So they told you what they wanted to tell you. And if you weren't smart enough to figure out and to look at their actions instead of listening to what they said, then sometimes you fall into the trap.
Yeah.
And after that cycle of dating guys who really didn't want anything in life, they were just here to play. And I said, you know what? When I gave it to God, and I said, Lord, at that time I was turning 40. I said, Lord, I'm 40. At this point in life, I haven't met my partner, and I don't know if it's going to happen. So I just give this to you. But I do ask three things. If you really do have somebody for me, I need three things. And that was going to be the end of that conversation about dating and everything. After the three things, it was like the final chapter with God around me having a spouse. I need him to be a good communicator. I love a man who can express himself. I love people in general who can express themselves. I ask a lot of questions.
Yeah.
And then I need him to love God like I love him, because the order of things is to have Christ as your head. And if I'm going to have a male that I have to submit to before Christ, he also has to submit to Christ.
That's right.
So that was something that I asked for. Please let him be a believer. It wasn't religion specific, but I needed him to know the true God.
Yeah.
And the third thing, please, Lord, so I'm a chef, a professional chef, and a culinary baker. I said, Lord, let him please be a little further in health and fitness than I am. I like to eat. Okay. It's my natural tendency to wake up, and my work is food. I have an academy where I teach cooking lessons. So my life is food. And so I need someone to pull me in that direction of constant awareness of, hey, we have to be healthy. We have to make good choices, because I bake and I use the full fat stuff. The good stuff living in the South. Buttermilk and cheese and all that stuff.
Everything we grew up on, right?
So to answer your question, it was refreshing. And then when he told me the addiction that he had been battling with, my response very quickly was, okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of people who deal with problems.
Yeah.
And the fact that you're self-aware to even say this out loud, and that you're over it, I was happy. I was clapping for him in my head, but I'm like, okay, so that's not a judgment on your life. You know how many people deal with addictions and they never even come to terms with admitting it to themselves? They live in denial. So I was like, wow, he's so real. That's my thing. He's so real. I didn't even think at that point that it would turn into romance, but I just knew I had a friend that was so down to earth and honest. And no matter what, we were always going to be connected that same day. So it was a genuine connection. Again, we were not looking, and I wasn't on a dating site, but one thing I do have to say to any single woman or man out there, had I not been in position living in my purpose, we would not have aligned. But he said that he saw me in these networking groups. At that time, I had taken the leap, and I'm not saying anybody, don't quit your job, because I said it. But at that time, I was in a point in my life where I wanted some momentum in my business. So God had given me revelation. He said, you know what? You don't have any responsibilities. take a break from corporate America, go to these events, go meet people. And that's just exactly what I did. Got on the Zoom call and I'm talking to everybody. But you know what, Tracy? He's such a wolf, as you can see in his logo.
Yeah, yes.
He was watching. Your brother was watching. And I saw him on the Zoom, and he was the only person that did not speak the entire Zoom. So it's like an elephant in the room. I'm like, who is that? Just kind of looking. Everybody else is engaged, but so when he approached me, I kind of remembered him, and we just started talking. I've always been myself. I never put on a front to any. So we just talked, and I enjoyed talking to him because the other guys I used to date, they would get bored real quick. You know, but this guy was so interesting, and I just loved talking to him. So we just built the friendship, and over time, the feelings got a little deeper, and here we are, almost 2 years later, getting married.
Amen. So a quick sidebar: are you a speaker?
I have done speaking engagements.
Okay.
And I'm toying with that. I love myself as a teacher, to be honest. I love teaching in the classroom. I have one-on-one classes. I'm a life coach. But the speaking part, I've done some. I wouldn't consider myself a speaker. May I ask why you asked that question?
I just feel it. That's all. When you speak, I feel it. So I just had to ask you. Yeah. You know, no pressure, but
well, thank you for that, because I still battle with that confidence on stage, to be honest with you. I can be myself with like this, right? I don't see the audience. They don't make me nervous because I don't see them. Although I know that they're there, but for me, it's just me, Raul, and you in the room.
Sure.
But I do get nervous when I get on stage, and it's something I'm working out. So thank you for bringing it
up. You're welcome. That was just a sidebar, just something I see, but you know, in God's time, everything in God's time, right? But I love that you talked about the refreshing part of it, and being a single woman also, and getting to the age of 53 and having my love now, who is also very much like what you talked about, very authentic, that, you know, very much told me his truths. And so I identify with this so well, because it is refreshing to have someone who can put themselves on the table, right? Like that's how I'm picturing it, right? Like just putting themselves on the table to be able to give of themselves authentically and real, to say, here I am, especially after the transformation of saying, I'm God's child now, here I am, all of me out on the table. And, you know, and then I'm just going to say, and now let's do this, right? Like that's basically what it was. But for you to be open enough to really recognize that how real he was and where he stood now in his life from all that he had, you know, transformed from, right? For you to be open enough, because oftentimes, and I'm saying this as a woman, because at 53, I wasn't open until recently, right? You know, the past few years, but oftentimes we are not open as women because of all of what we've experienced from men in the past. So for you to both to be in that place, that's why it's divine, right? Because both people have gone through their transformations. Both people have asked God for what they want. And here's the divine bringing the two of you together. So take us on a walk. You know, I want to go on a little journey because one thing to share with the audience, right? And our stories are so similar. One thing to share with the audience is you guys are in different places. You're in different states at the moment. Right. So take us on a journey of how, you know, you stopped with, you built that friendship first, which is so key. Right. But now talk about how it morphed into something special and how you guys started to really know that, OK, I love this person, I'm enjoying them, how you took this journey of really solidifying the relationship while you're both in two different places.
I want to speak to that if I can.
Yeah.
Thank you for that question. It's such a good question. For someone who had basically never had a healthy relationship, I had low expectations at the time. I knew he was a nice person, a nice guy. And he asked me every time we talk, can I call you tomorrow? And I would say, okay, sure. And then when he would call, I'd be surprised because I wasn't used to the consistency. So after about a week, I was like, okay, he might be, we might be onto something. And then after a few, 2, 3, almost a month, he would call me like 2 or 3 times a day. Just, he was not letting up. He was consistent. He knew what he wanted. And at that point, I kind of let my guard down because I was like, okay, well, he's different. He's different. I knew he was different.
Yeah.
Everything that I had experienced. And prior to all of this, let me also mention that I had to do some healing too, because I come from a background where my father was present, but not emotionally. So as a woman, I did not know true love. I knew my dad took care of me. I knew he was in the house, but I didn't necessarily know love. He didn't know how to say I love you. He didn't know how to hug me. He never got that from his parents, so he didn't know how to do that for me. So that was, I guess I've always had this hard shell up until I met Raul, because he kept tapping on my shell, tapping on my shell, tapping on my shell with his consistency, with his kind nature, his words. He's a poet, my goodness. How did he not fall in love with the poet that calls day with whatever's on his heart?
Yeah.
I remember we were talking, it might have been about 2 months into our relationship, and I just started to cry on the phone because I had realized, like, for the first time that this was like genuine, like this was real.
Yeah.
I just started to cry. He asked, "Why are you crying?" I was just sobbing on the phone. I'm like, this is the moment that you know that you love somebody, when it just, you feel it so deeply. And I had always been taught, you never say I love you first. As a woman, you never say I love you first. But I'm in my mind like losing, because I just felt for the first time true love.
Yeah.
True unconditional love. He accepts me with everything. And I just felt it. So I had to tell him it was just the time for me to say, I love you.
Yeah.
And that was the day that he said it right back after. So we knew. We knew. Now, has it been easy, us being in different states? Not at all. Because when you truly love somebody, you want to be around them all the time.
Yeah.
And the reality is, we have work, we have families, we have different things. And especially the first year was hard, because the nature of my business is holiday catering and cake decorating. So the holidays for me were super slammed. I had almost zero time for him for October, November, and December of the first year that we dated. And we almost broke up because he was just upset that I didn't have the time to give him.
Yeah.
I was always delivering something, or taking an order, or finishing invoices, or talking to a customer. I mean, that's my busy time. But then we learned through that experience, though, communication is so important.
Yeah.
That I learned that even though I was used to being a single woman doing my own thing, right? We beat to our own drum.
Yes.
That's what I've always taken care of myself. This is just what I do. But then I had to shift. I had to pray on that. So, okay, Lord, now I have a partner. He has needs too. Even if it's just to see my face. And there's sometimes I'm covered in powder and sugar and all this stuff. And I don't want to be on the Zoom. I don't want to be on the camera, because I don't feel like I'm pretty. He doesn't care. He just wants to see me. So then we started having virtual dates, like actually putting it in our calendar. Okay, we're gonna meet this week at this time to talk about us. Forget about everything. And how we've been making it so far.
Yeah. Amen. So we're don't go anywhere, everybody. I know you're like into their love story like I am, because I'm just like all in, like just listening to what you have to say. But I love the fact that you made it work. I can remember I was dating my significant other during COVID. And I was in New Jersey, he was in North Carolina, and having to get on, we used to talk via duo, right? But I was a mess too, Jessica, because I couldn't go to the hairdresser, right? Like I couldn't really spiffy myself up. So he saw me, the fact that he stayed, God bless him. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and then I want Raul to answer the question as well, to talk about the journey from his perspective right after this break. Don't go anywhere, everybody. And I'm going to show you the Power of We Symposium commercial again, because I want everybody to support these efforts here, because this really is about the kids and helping the kids that are coming to this event.
5 years ago, the Power of We Symposium was created to provide a platform for kids from all sectors where they could have a safe and comfortable environment in which to share both their joys and concerns. The Power of We Symposium is proud to have served over 250 kids throughout Romania when we took our mission global back in May of 2023. Now, 2 teams of amazing volunteers from both the U.S. and Romania embarked on an 8-day Legacy of Hope tour, bringing encouragement and hope to not only the kids of Romania, but also the adults who support them, and also to over 100 kids here in the U.S. who contributed handwritten letters of hope to our Romania mission of 2023. Now, this year, we are proud to provide this opportunity yet again in October, and we are super excited to up our game. New venue, 750 kids this time, and we want to see you there. We're looking forward to meeting you in person at this year's event, which promises, as always, incredible speakers, amazing content, and of course, some of the greatest kids on the planet. So, mark your calendars for October 24th, and we'll see you here in Chicagoland for the Power of We Symposium 2024. This year's theme is Always Together, Never Alone. Tickets are available now on Eventbrite or at powerofwesymposium.com.
All right, so you saw that commercial, everybody. I want you to go to the powerofwesymposium.com. Buy tickets. Join us in Chicago in October. I will be there. Yours truly will be on stage. And I just love the fact that I get to, pour into the kids, but I get so blessed just by the children as well. You never know what's going to happen at events like this. So just, come pour in whatever it is, resources. It doesn't necessarily have to be money, whatever it is that you have to give, pour into these children and join us in Chicago if you can in October. So that is the Power of We Symposium. But I am here with the beautiful Jessica Roman and the amazing Raul Marin. And I'm going to do this because Jessica mentioned him being a wolf. And we did this on the show last time. Raul! I had to. I couldn't resist. I'm sorry. But his name goes so well with the fact that he is the wolf, right? So I had to do it. But I want to give Raul an opportunity to talk about, from his perspective, the journey that they have taken to get them to this point, because, I don't know if we said it, right? I think I said it earlier, but if you don't remember, they are engaged. So I want to talk about that journey from your perspective, Raul.
You definitely, I've definitely learned about how time is the most expensive resource you have in life. Because you never get it back.
Yeah.
This 24 hours is not going to be the same as the next one or the next one or the next one. Yeah. And, I remember a time when my dad asked me what I thought about marriage. And I was 10 or 11 at the time. And I may not say much, but I'm always watching with those wolf eyes. And I look very profoundly at the people around me, things around me, etc. Just like my name says, I'm a wise wolf. I watch, I observe. And I told him, I said, marriage to me is sacrifice. And he was like, what do you know about marriage being sacrifice? He was kind of taken aback by it. The reason I said that is because through the journey, right? I never approached the relationship with this lens, but nothing screams more to you loving your partner than to accepting them the way that they are.
Yeah. Amen.
Different as they may be. And we're different.
Yeah.
But I love that about her.
Yeah.
And there has never been an ounce of energy in my body to get her to change it, to her to be like me. Never has, never will. And there's just nothing that fills my cup more than to hear her laugh. Because that's what I just can't get enough of the conversation, right? Like we have our consistent talk in the morning, text her in the afternoon, call if we can, but then call at night, and it's just, even if I have to, even if she speaks 95% of the time and I speak five,
Mm.
to me that's this genuine
Yeah.
communication that you can't get enough of it. You can't get better than that, because that's the true exchange of valued time.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, and what a way to say it, the words of the poet, right? Talking about the true exchange of value time. Like, couldn't have said that better. Because that hits home, like when you say it that way, right? And it's one thing that we take for granted. Time is one thing that we really take for granted, and we don't think about it as it being our greatest currency, right? One of the things that we have that you just shouldn't take for granted, right? Because like you said, we can't get it back. So I love the way that you said that. Wow. So talk to us about how this transitioned into now an engagement.
Oh. uh,
I didn't see it coming.
That's good. That's
I
good.
did not see it coming. Let him tell the story.
He did his job in surprising you then. That's amazing.
He did.
well, the scary thing about our engagement is, especially those that appreciate the power of numbers.
Mm.
I don't, but they're just too big to deny in our case.
Mm-hmm.
So our engagement is 8-8. 8 is
Right.
abundance. 8
New
is
beginning.
infinite abundance. New beginnings,
Yeah.
etc., etc.
Yeah.
So 8-8-24. That's 3/8.
Mm-hmm.
8-8-8.
Mm-hmm.
So one 8 for me, one for her, one for God, because God's always going to be at the center of our lives.
Amen.
And if you add 2024, you get 8.
Mm.
And what do you think our ring sizes are?
8.
Yours is 8.
Wow, for both of you? Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the power of just the date alone.
Yeah.
But I strategically planned the engagement proposal day right after her. Well, it was her 40th birthday.
Mm-hmm.
No, 40,
41. It was
40,
last year.
40, 41st birthday. Sorry. But who's counting? No, it was the weekend of her birthday.
I look good. You can tell my age. Don't
That's,
worry.
that's right. Because you certainly don't look 40.
I don't care. Tell the whole world.
So I remember that I very critically listened to what her preference was for the type of ring. She's like, I don't need that whole like fancy, all those diamonds and glitter and glitz and glamour. Like, I just need that one rock.
Mhm. That's right.
I want it to be squared. I just need that one rock.
It wasn't a hint or anything. It was just this conversation kind of just came up, and I was like, well, if it ever happens, this is my style. I'm not a fancy person. I don't like all the shine. Just one, and I didn't make it say it had to be big or anything. Just one clear diamond on a silver band. I like silver more than gold. And that was the end of the conversation. We didn't even elaborate on it further. Just I stated what I liked, but he remembered like time. Yeah.
Yeah. Amen. And good job paying attention.
So I went ring shopping, with my best man, because he's happily married, and he's like, "You ever been ring shopping before?" I'm like, "I can go with you." And I'm like, I mean, please.
Yeah.
So when I saw the sales lady like try it on for her, and I mean, his reaction was, "Raul, if I was a woman, like, I would say yes." And I'm like, "Yeah, that is the one." Okay.
Yeah.
So take the ring with me to Florida for her birthday weekend, and I purposefully called 2 of her best friends to be like, "Hey, like, I'm popping the question, so can y'all please be present for birthday. We're gonna go out for her birthday." And she's like, well, "Of course, of course." And I start telling like our closest friends, even her mom, like I'm up in the question. And so those 2 weeks were an eternity for her mom because her mom.
I'm sure she wanted to tell her.
My mother can't hold water, but she held her secret. She sure did.
Good job, Mom.
Half the world knows that I'm popping the question, so they just can't wait. They can't wait to see it come to fruition.
Yeah.
And so we go to the restaurant, and I truly did have to go, handle some business. And as I was going to handle my business, I was talking to one of the servers, and I was like, "Hey, excuse me, by the way, thank you for everything. I have a special favor to ask you." And he's like, "Sure, what's up?" I said, "Well, later tonight, I'm going to ask the question." It's like, "Oh wow, like okay, like please tell me anything you want to do." And I said, "Well, she likes a good dessert, so because she's a baker." And I said,
Right.
so I already by default decided that she was going to have dessert. And so I'm like, "Well, when it's time for dessert, if you could please, whatever plate that you put the dessert on, like, write a message, happy birthday to my love. There's the dessert, and if you can put the box with the ring right at the end of the message, that'd be great." So he's like, "Okay, so I'll wait for your signal." And so she's trying to just try to leave, and so like, no,
That's
like
the first time I did not want to eat dessert at a restaurant. So the food was so good. I hardly ever finished my plate. But the food was so good, I finished my plate. So he was ready for dessert. He was so excited. Dessert. I'm like, okay, okay. Well, why are you so excited for dessert? I thought I said in my mind, I'm done. My portion was good. I'm full. I don't need dessert this time. He's like, no, you have to get dessert. I'm like, why are you? So we're fighting at the table. Why are you forcing me to eat? I don't want to eat. I'm full. I had enough, but thank you. He's like, babe, you got to get dessert. He was so insistent. So fine. I finally look at the dessert menu, and there, Tracy, is a peach cobbler cheesecake.
Ooh.
2 of my favorite desserts married together.
Yeah.
Have you ever had a peach cobbler cheesecake?
No, but that sounds really good.
Doesn't it sound? And it's intriguing. So I was like, okay, well, let me have the peach cobbler cheesecake. When the way I was so excited then for dessert because it was something that I've never had before, and I was so just happy to figure it, how it tastes. He brought the dessert out, and I'll tell you, my foodie self, I'm looking straight at the dessert. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get my cheesecake and my peach cobbler. My eyes don't even see the ring. Nothing. I just look at the dessert. I'm so focused on this dessert.
Yeah.
Now the table gets quiet. My friends, they get quiet. Raul gets like the table just gets quiet. And I look at him like, what's wrong with y'all? Seriously.
Mind you, Big Papa's playing in the background.
Oh, that's his favorite song, Big Papa. Like, what's wrong with y'all? But I see the shine from the ring, and then from me looking like this to them, like, what's wrong with y'all? And I was like, oh my God. He proposed.
Yay.
And so everybody else around us, they start to get, they start to notice that like what's going down. And so the wives start to, you see that ring? You see that ring?
It was a pretty big rock. It was. Yeah, all the people around were like just elbowing their husbands, like, do you see that? Do you see that? It was getting their husbands in trouble.
I love it. I love it. Amen. Wow. What a story. So how hard was it to like now depart? Because now you have to go back to Maryland and she's staying in Florida. How hard was it to depart after that?
It's like my heart got ripped out of my chest. Like it really is. We cry every time we see each other. We have to say bye at the airport. And I knew that I would come back a few months later for Christmas.
Mm.
And we did that. And we've just, it has not been easy, but when you love somebody, like, you make it work, you
Yeah.
know. The thing is, I still feel like a single person because I live out of, and I'm still beating to my own drum, but I have
Mm.
a partner. So my prayer to the Lord is now, okay, when we get married in 3 months, I'm still gonna have an adjustment period because
Mhm.
I'm not
Mhm.
used to sharing my space. I'm
Yeah.
not used to doing wifely stuff. I've never been a wife before. So my prayer
Yeah.
every day is, Lord, keep me prepared, keep me focused
Mhm.
on not just me, but we.
Yeah.
He has, and through our marriage counseling, our premarital counseling, we've discussed a lot of things,
Mm.
kids and how they affect the marriage, which church we're gonna go worship at, because he's
Yeah.
Catholic and I'm Christian. And although the beliefs align,
Mm.
I've never been Catholic and he's never gone to a Christian church. So we had to
Yeah.
figure that out. So it's a lot of communication. It's a lot
Yeah.
of, but and when we're here, we're gonna really go through the stuff. So keep us in prayer.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And I'm just going to say this, right? Like, just being able to talk to both of you here and have you together, like, you guys are going to be fine.
Thank you.
Because you recognize already that what it takes is constantly speaking respectfully and lovingly and kindly to one another to iron out whatever it is that comes your way, right? And because of the energy that the two of you have, oh, you guys are going to be amazing. And it doesn't mean that you won't have challenges, but you're going to be amazing. You're going to be amazing. There's so much good energy between the two of you.
Yeah.
It's I feel like crying because I love and I love to see this. And yeah, I mean, yeah, this is amazing. So I don't even want to end the show. I wish I could just want you guys to give just a couple of words because we only have a few minutes to people out there who have lost hope in love. What would each of you say to that?
Mm, mm, mm.
Well, I'll go first. I my message is very simple. Number one, you should never lose hope, because every day that you have an opportunity to get on this earth, to have the energy to wake up and show yourself to the world, is another opportunity we have to do better than we did yesterday. Never lose hope. And number two, you only can attract the reflection of who you are.
Come on, I
So,
wish I had a bell or something.
oh, I have
Amen.
one here. I have one here.
Ring that bell, girly.
There you go.
Yeah.
You can only attract the reflection of the person you are. So if you're looking for a quality friend, a mate, a partner, a husband or wife,
Yeah.
you have to become that for yourself
Yeah.
first. And if it means you reading books or being more disciplined in your exercise, or you build more confidence in yourself, taking chances to do things that you've never done. I mean, you have to become the person that you want. So when you've identified what person you want, ask yourself, am I a reflection of this?
Yeah.
And if you're not, then you still have work to do. And that's probably why your mate hasn't presented themselves, because you haven't done the work on yourself. So don't lose hope.
Yeah.
You just have to have self-awareness and know what it takes to get somebody good in your life. You have to become what you attract.
Yeah. Oh, that's a word. And that's why I asked you if you speak, my darling. That is a word. Okay. Sorry to give this to you quickly, but Raul, if you could give us your advice really quick before we end the show.
I'm going to lean on my heavenly brother, that God rest his soul, Kobe Bryant. He talked about how there's no use in focusing or thinking about doubt. He said, "You win today, that's fantastic, but guess what? Tomorrow you still got to show up.
Yeah.
If you lose today, I mean, it's too bad, but guess what? Tomorrow you got to show up again.
Yeah.
So if you're doubting that you're going to find love, well, you still have to show up every 24 hours,
Yeah. Yeah.
being your authentic, raw, loving, humble self. And humble self, because you have to be humble enough to know that, I mean, there's still work that I have to do with myself. so that I can be a better partner.
Yeah, amen. Both amazing words here, everyone. So listen, understand that true love is possible. You saw it here today with all of the challenges that they have had being in different areas and both coming to a certain point in their life and wanting love, and allowing it to happen and being open for it to happen and knowing that they both were transforming through God first and then for each other, right? I love this. So don't give up hope. Everybody, do not doubt, because what you think and what you say, you draw to you. So, as Jessica said too, be the reflection of the person that you want coming into your life. This has been absolutely amazing. I absolutely love you guys and what you have built and what you will continue to build. I know for sure going forward. Everybody out there, we love you. Make sure that you tune in again next week right here on the Whole Living Show at 7 p.m. and we will see you then.